All right, welcome back to our stream here. So we got to take a look here at some of the more popular models that people are looking for, and it's easy enough to talk about the fun cars, the eye candy. But what's important is that we spend some time talking about what people are actually buying in larger quantities, right? So, for example, the Equinox, Chevy Equinox, is one of the top sellers, and the numbers really kind of tell the truth, right? There's 33,000 of these things nationwide for sale right now, and they almost all these 36,000 Equinoxes will be sold. They don't carry over too many from the previous year usually. Like usually they're sold out pretty quick. Let's take a look and see. Here's a 2026. It looks like a demo right here. You can see that we have 2,000 miles on this one. This one is priced pretty aggressively at 29,967. It has an MSRP of 35,470, and it makes you wonder if this includes if it includes the rebates. Let's see. All right, so the dealer price on this one, the MSRP. Let's see what the window sticker says. So the real price is 36,470. Now they're claiming the real price is 37,465. So we have some dealer ads there. Let's see what this says for savings. It says savings. Does that include a rebate? Is the question. Let's find out. So we're at H&H Chevrolet in Omaha, Nebraska on this one. Now I do like to buy these on. If you can lease one of these, it hasn't been titled yet. Usually you get a really solid lease deal on it, low payment. Since it's got a couple thousand miles on it, you're usually in a good shape. So let's take a look at the. Let's take a look and see what the rebate is on this one. Okay, and Chevrolet.com. All right, let's take a look and see what the incentives are on this one. Okay, so remember that incentives are going to be based on your region. So we're just going to check for our region here. Ownership, no, we don't want that. Let's see, shop. Current offers. Let's see what they are. Chevy trucks, SUVs. Here's the Equinox. Let's see what our 3.9% over 60 months, no payments for 90 days. So Equinox front wheel drive LT is $219 a month, the 4,000 down to it signing. That doesn't include any cash or any taxes, but that looks a little bit more like what you would. So got 1.9. got 1.9, and we have superb lease capabilities on here. But you got to understand one thing, that we can get this without, you know, putting the money down on this one. We can get these cheaper. So let's take a closer look here. Yeah, it looks like yeah, it looks like you got a few different options you can go with. But nevertheless, they are running some solid leases on these right now. They're running 1.9%. So not bad. So they're trying, obviously, they're trying to aggressively sell these here. But yeah, I mean, you're looking for a $300 a month lease payment. We can do that on a Equinox. So let's take a go. Now let's get back in here and take a look at the entire market. And we're going to look at all of them. We're going to look at, we're going to, since there's so many of these, we're going to narrow this down just a smidge here. Okay, we're going to do, alrighty, LT. All-wheel drive, LT 1.5 turbo, 9,000 of these. So these are going to be equipped with the high output turbo 1.5 liter engine. Let's take a look and see what we have. Let's make sure we got only new. And we do. All right. Let's take a look at the sweet spot here. Sweet spot is going to be right around the 32,000 range is where they're going to want to be on here. We can get, you know, the $3,000 to $3,500 off this vehicle. Again, there's so many of them. You know, there's 2,000 of these all throughout the country here. So, you know, especially if you're not picky on color, you can, you know, basically just grind down a dealership. Let's see what happens if we get one with a few miles on it. It's got to be new, but let's see. Okay, let's put 100, well, 50. Let's try to put 3 miles or 2 miles. So that will cut out all the ones that are 0 or 1 miles. One to 10,000 miles. That should work. Okay, so let's narrow it down even more. Let's do 50 miles. Okay, so we've got 734 of these that could fall under that demo category here. And this is one that we could find one of these and steal it pretty much. Like this one here at H&H Chevrolet has 2,000 miles on it. They're asking 29. The sticker on this one is 35. It does have some cooler looking wheels on it and so forth. It is an all-wheel drive package on there. 2,000 miles. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that we can maximize that offer, but that would give us a pretty solid lease payment on this particular vehicle here. So, you know, that's basically what we're looking at here is a vehicle. We could probably get it for 28.5, or you know, we can get $5,000 or $6,000 off this one here because it does have some miles on it before any um, applicable rebates. Remember, they're going to have that low APR. They're going to have the cheap lease payment on it too. So, yep, it is. So yeah, retired loaner. They have it priced, but not where we want it. That would include any kind of rebate that they'd offer. Anyway, let's see what other. Let's get in. Let's dig in here a little bit. All right, so here's some with, just trying to find them with just a few miles on them. A lot of times, especially on a lease, we can really get a good deal. Here's one in Maine. Here's a Chevy Equinox LT for 34,545. It does have mileage on it. It is priced. It's sticker. You can probably get $3,500 to $4,000 off this vehicle. I remember that before any applicable rebates. Remember that all the that all that would just be, if we all that would come off the top line of any lease. So any money that we saved on the top line would be about $30 in payment on a 3-year lease, or $30 to $33 and $50 on a 2-year lease, 24 month lease. So we can really get these lease payments down on something like this to be able to make it very affordable and get you the mileage that you need. So, um, you can do a 10, 12, or 15,000 mile lease. Generally, on a vehicle like this, it's about $30 difference, between, like a 10,000 mile lease or $30 more for. So, like if you went from 10,000 to 50,000, you're going to be paying, general rule of thumb, 30 miles per jump up. So you're going to be paying like $60 more on your payment, on a vehicle like this, right? So, however you want to go about it, but this is one that you kind of want to get it close on the mileage. You don't want to. It's one that where the residual is typically, and the buyout rate is typically going to be higher in a lot of cases because these do depreciate a little bit. So that's just a little food for thought. These are leases that people generally buy out or turn in. They don't generally buy them out and then trade them in. It's just usually one that you're going to turn in at the end of the lease in most cases. But, good, you can get great options there for the Chevy Equinox. Great vehicle for a family. It doesn't have a third row, but has a roomy enough back row. It does have an efficient 4-cylinder engine, but it does get up and go on the highway as well. That's why these things sell. They give you a lot of utility. The reason that people have switched to these crossovers over the sedans and station wagons is because it gives you a little more ground clearance. It's really all it is. It's not really an SUV in the traditional sense where they build it on a truck frame. These are all built on unibody frames, just like all modern cars now, right? Like all the major production model cars are unibody design and not body on frame. That being said, these are going to be mostly like cars with ground clearance. That's the difference, and you get the storage in the back on this particular crossover as well, which you wouldn't get that kind of storage in the back of a sedan, right? Or even a wagon wouldn't go up as high. So you get a lot more storage in the back. It's a lot more convenient. That's why people are switching to these, because you get more for your money. That's why. Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at the interior here. Nice options here. Obviously, up-to-date computer systems on here. Really nice setup on there. Really nice setup. Heated seats on this one. Cold weather package, mainly because it is an all-wheel drive one. Yeah, I mean, we're talking $4 or $5 grand off these all day long. They have to move these. Chevy dealerships don't hold on to these very long. All right. Anyway, that's the Chevy Equinox. Like I said, if you want one to get one at a heavy discount, let me know. We're talking 10%, maybe even a little bit more off MSRP on these. So don't pay full price. Don't pay for dealer ads. Call me and let me handle it because I'll get the maximum for your vehicle and get the one that you're buying for the absolute cheapest price. Thank you. We'll see you on the next stream.